Release date, August 25th, 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TBD College Football Podcast with your hosts. I'm Mason.
And I'm Joey.
And I'm Isaac.
Welcome to this episode entitled Just a Little Taste. Like we mentioned on Wednesday, it's not real football, but it's just a little taste. Week 0, everyone. All right, starting off. Oh, man, it feels so good to say this again. Starting off with our game of the week. Isaac, why don't you tell the folks what is our game of the week?
Our game of the week is the Naval Academy Midshipmen facing off against number 13 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Ireland.
At 2:30 p.m. And yeah, like you just said, hello, it's in Ireland. What? We did have this matchup last year in Week 0, a great matchup between Northwestern and Nebraska. Northwestern winning by a field goal, 31-28. I think we're all just kind of hoping for another great matchup here. And guys, what if Notre Dame actually dropped one to Navy? I mean, we talked about it. We saw them beat or lose to Ohio State within 11 last year, right? And then next week they go back home and they lose to Marshall at home, right? So I guess anything's possible here, but that would be pretty crazy if they lost.
I'm sorry, Ohio State doesn't run the triple option though. They actually have quarterbacks who can throw the ball. You got Sam Hartman, you got a dual-headed monster at Notre Dame at the running back position, who not only can run the ball, but they can catch. They can get yards after the catch as well. And let's not forget, Notre Dame is the school that brings out tight ends out of nowhere. Them in Iowa. But we're talking about Notre Dame here. And we're talking about Navy.
Georgia now too, so.
Well, whatever.
The spread here, yeah. I mean, Navy did upset UCF on the road last year, and Notre Dame, like we said, dropped one to Marshall in Week 2 at home. Anything's possible, I guess. Spread is Notre Dame by 20.5. The ESPN FBI is Notre Dame 95%. Though, I was thinking, I feel like that spread is a little bit small, but maybe not. Just because, like, Navy doesn't suck, right? I mean, obviously it's Navy. They run the triple option. They're not a great team. So maybe that is a good point spread. Isaac, what do you think?
Yeah, so this is tough because, I mean, I like Navy. You know, my grandpa was a Marine, so I always pull for Navy. However, given that, Notre Dame's favored by 21, and that's something nobody else has talked about yet, but Coach Niumatalolo has left the Naval Academy. He's not returning this season. And so I think there's a couple of things that are going to go into this, not the least of which is having a new coach, probably having somewhat of a new system. Honestly, luck of the Irish, I think Notre Dame wins this game. I'd say probably by 17. I don't think they cover the spread. I think they'll win by 17, but I do think that Notre Dame comes back home with a win.
Interesting.
So if you're allowed to gamble in your state, Isaac said he doesn't think they're going to get the spread. Go put in your bet now. No, I'm just messing. Kind of like what Isaac said, my uncle was in the Marines. Both my grandfathers were in the Navy. I always have love for the Navy. But I got to pick Notre Dame here, man. It's just a better team. I honestly genuinely think that Notre Dame will have a decent season this year. And guess what? They got the old-time green unis back. So, that might be actual luck of the Irish, bro.
I did not realize that we all had so much family in the Navy. My dad actually served in the Navy, and so did my grandfather and my other grandfather. Always pulling for Navy. 100% will not be pulling for Notre Dame this Saturday. And with that being said, I'm definitely picking Notre Dame. I'm sorry. They got Sam Hartman at quarterback now, transfer from Wake Forest, who actually played significantly well the last couple of years. Marcus Freeman, a head coach. He's just a great guy. Was a great defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. Still waiting to see what he's going to do here, but I think that the Irish obviously have no problem getting through here. So we're all there's another TBD triple pick for you. We're all picking Notre Dame. Probably going to have a couple of those this week. All right, next up, we're going to jump into our big Week 0 games. All right. So Week 0, starting off with the most unimportant game of this season, most likely, UTEP at Jacksonville State at 5:30, and there's really not much to say about this game. I mean, it's UTEP at Jacksonville State. There were 7 games. The other 2 are much more boring than this, so this is one that we actually thought might be good for the teams that they are. Spread is even, so there's you just got to pick one or the other. And then our ESPN FPI is UTEP at 52%. Joey is picking first. Joey, who do you have here?
I got UTEP, man.
Any rhyme or reason, or?
No, not really. I don't watch either team, but I know that UTEP had a pretty good season last season, and I think they kind of continue that grind. But yeah,
No, that makes sense. You know what? Like, I think that this will be a good matchup. But on the other hand, Jacksonville State did upset Florida State a couple years ago. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville State to win this game, bro. J-State all the way. I mean, because it's going to be so close, spread so even, and it's at Jacksonville State, which gives them the home field advantage, I'm going to go with Jacksonville State here.
Well, those are both good picks. I don't watch either of these teams. UTEP's favored, or at least on the FPI. I'm also going to go with Jacksonville State. They're the home team. I think that the spread's even, so it could really go either way. But I think the home field advantage, if there really is one, again, I know nothing about Jacksonville State, but I'm going to go with them.
And if you haven't yet, after this episode airs, or after this weekend, head on over to our TBD Instagram and our socials to check out our PP, our pick prediction podium. All right, there we go. Anyway, yeah, great picks there. This probably, honestly, will be the hardest one to pick all day, except for maybe one later, which is actually the next game we're about to talk about. Ohio, not Ohio State, Ohio at San Diego State at 7 p.m. So obviously now we're getting to start to get some games of not more importance, but like just more interesting, right? But only for this week, because any other week, I don't think any of us would be watching these games. But obviously, Ohio at San Diego State. Spread is San Diego State by 2.5. ESPN FPI is San Diego State 65%. So this obviously another close game if they think that SDSU is going to win by 2.5. I think that makes sense, but I'm going to have to go with Ohio here, man. I'm going to pick Ohio to win this game. I think that they ended the season last year better than San Diego State did. Obviously, it's at San Diego State, so they have to travel. But I'm gonna go with the Bobcats here to pull this one out.
That's a really good pick, Mason. Again, I'm with you on that. I wouldn't be watching this game in any other week. With that said, though, I am going to go with the Aztecs. I think San Diego State is going to ride the momentum of the basketball team. And I think they're going to – well, that's not saying much. But I think the Aztecs are going to win this one. I think they'll cover the spread. They'll probably win by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, but no more than 7. But I think the Aztecs get this one done.
Yeah, man, I got San Diego State for this game. They've always had kind of that middle of the pack kind of football team. And with this transition of conferences and stuff, I think San Diego State might actually benefit from it. So I got San Diego State.
Yeah, man. I mean, that could. This starting off, obviously, it's not a Mountain West matchup or anything, but that would definitely be a great start to the season. Would hopefully, build them up to project them towards the Mountain West Championship.
I meant more for transfers and stuff. Some players want to stay within a certain conference and all that, so they're one of those schools.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the first SEC team playing, which this is the end of a home-and-home series. This is Hawaii at Vanderbilt at 7:30, a game that I'm actually a little bit excited about. Can they repeat that, though? Can they repeat that against Hawaii this weekend? The construction issues at First Bank Stadium is another thing, right? Their stadium, they're way behind. They were supposed to actually end up playing at a high school stadium down the road. Both of those fans probably would have been upset that they couldn't get to go to, their actual stadium. But yeah, it is what it is. There's just been some controversy around that. I thought I'd mention it. Spread is Vandy by 17.5. ESPN FPI is Vandy 82%, which is a little bit lower than I expected it to be. Isaac, you're picking first. Who you got here?
Hawaii's probably feeling a little bit sentimental for the home state, given the wildfires. Prayers to them. I think the spread's honestly a little low. Vanderbilt by 17.5. Yeah, I like the Commodores. Anchor down. I think they'll win by 3 touchdowns or more. And not much to say about that. I think it'll be a good game. I think Hawaii will probably put up more than 10 points, but I think Vandy takes the dub.
I mean, Hawaii used to have one of those teams where they were kind of like a dark horse kind of team themselves, but past few years they haven't been too astounding, to say the least. So I got to pick Vanderbilt here. Honestly, I hope to see Vanderbilt continue to grow. Will we see it this season? Who knows? They might win the SEC, guys. I mean, nobody knows anymore. Not really. We know they're not. But I got Vandy.
This is not the ACC, Joey. We know.
What?
We know who's going to win. It's not anything is possible. Vandy is not winning the SEC. Anyway.
Louisville.
All right. Yeah, I'll keep it straight for you guys. Keep it super simple. I got Vandy, and I got Vandy to cover the spread. Obviously, they beat Hawaii last year 63-10. I think that they can repeat that success. Maybe not that bad, but more than 17 points. I don't think the Rainbow Warriors have much to offer here. Last game. All right, San Jose State at number 6 USC at 8 p.m. We mentioned last episode USC is on a 2-game losing streak right now. Obviously, they lost to Utah in the Pac-12 championship and then somehow gave up a huge comeback to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. So we'll see what Caleb Williams can spice up for us here. It's Pac-12 too, so Pac-12, anything is possible here. I mean, they could lose this game. Will they? Probably not. Obviously, the spread USC by 31 and the FPI USC 96%, which to me, this is just me, I think that that spread is a little high. I think San Jose State is a little bit better than people are giving them credit for. They're one of the better teams in the Mountain West, not the best team. Obviously, not even probably in the top 3, but I feel like they're better. They have a little bit more heart than people give them credit for. For that reason, I'm still picking USC. Caleb Williams defense. That's pretty much the answer. So,
yeah, I got USC winning this game, man. There's not much explanation needed for it.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. There's not much to say about it this game. I think USC handles them. I think they cover the spread, or at least, I don't know, maybe by 28. Maybe they don't cover, but they definitely win by at least 4 touchdowns. So I think the Trojans will get it done for sure.
Yeah, I don't see San Jose State winning this. I mean, if they did, that'd be awesome because I also hate USC. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening to that episode. I know that was begrudgingly boring, probably, because there's not much to talk about here, but it is finally a little taste of college football. We've been waiting 7 or 8 long months, and they have been very long. We've been having to deal with baseball. Don't get me wrong, I love baseball, but it's just not college football. So, yeah, go Braves, go Yanks for Isaac, even though they are god-awful right now. And just thanks for tuning in, guys. We just always want to make sure that you guys know no matter what team you pull for, if you're on God's side, you're always on the winning team. Just know that there is a Father in heaven who loves you. The Bible tells us in Romans 5:8 that God proved his love for us in this, that while we were still his enemies, he sent his only son to die for us. Jesus did come to die for you. Jesus loves you. Jesus wants to know you. Jesus wants a relationship with you. And I'm praying for you guys. We're all praying for you. We all have relationships with Jesus. And that's not a I'm better than you thing. That's just the thing that we want you to have as well. We love you guys. If you guys ever need anything, you can always hit us up in our DMs, on Instagram, send us a message on Facebook, even leave a comment on this YouTube video. We'll always reach back with you. We're praying for all of our listeners, and we just love you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next week after this little taste that we're getting here. I'm Mason.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Isaac.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Later.